Well, hi everyone. I'm John Retlin with a retro review of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie from 1995, the 25-year anniversary. So I figured I'd review it since I was 14 years old when this movie came out and I watched it in theaters. And I have seen it in, subsequent years, but I hadn't watched it in a while. And I was like, okay, how is something going to hold up from 1995? Obviously, there's going to be older special effects and some stuff's going to be cheesy. But is it going to hold up? Is it going to hit the nostalgia veins like the 2017 version did, which I actually enjoyed? It wasn't great, but I did enjoy it for the most part. And I gotta be honest, I did not enjoy this movie nearly as much as I thought I would. Now, it is cheesy. It is, 16s or 20-somethings playing teens that are fighting creatures and everything and trying to save the world through the power of friendship. That's really basically what the movie is. The problem with the Power Rangers movie is while the special effects were obviously pumped up somewhat, pumped up in the biggest quotations possible, and the costumes were polished, it simultaneously looked a little more clean and yet a lot cheaper. It was actually rather baffling because the special effects looked like shit. They would have looked like shit even in 1985. It was Mortal Kombat Annihilation levels of bad shit. So obviously, spoilers are going to be happening in this movie, but if you're a Power Rangers fan like me, at least of the old Power Rangers, because I'm almost 40, so I remember racing home from school to watch the Power Rangers, from 1993, 1995, and I was all excited. I'm like, wow, even 14 years old, a Power Rangers movie. This is going to be kind of cool. And one of my first TV crushes, obviously, was Amy Jo Johnson, who plays Kimberly, the Pink Ranger, who, by the way, is ageless. I'm actually pretty convinced she is an immortal. But yeah, her and then the Australian girl that played the Pink Ranger, they were both like my first two TV crushes. But anyway, moving on from that. This is directed by the same guy that did the McHale's Navy movie and For Richer or Poorer, and he also did 35 episodes of the new Hawaii Five-0 from 2011 to 2018. He's also done other TV episodes here and there, but those are pretty much the big credits of what he's done in his career. Now, I gotta be honest, when you are tasked with making a Power Rangers movie, and they give you a budget, and they try to make you treat this material seriously, when it is about a creature called Ivan Ooze, a new threat, that's a 6,000-year-old threat, that comes from an oozy egg and uses his ooze to take over the minds of the parents and make them dig up his creatures so he can take over the world and everything, and even possesses one of the creatures in some of the worst special effects in movie history. When you're trying to treat something like that seriously, and especially when it's about 6 teens using the power of friendship to, beat back evil, you know that you are in a lot of trouble. And holy fuck, one, the soundtrack is very mid-90s. I mean, obviously, 1995. But the soundtrack is so goddamn ridiculous. There's that song, Uh-Oh, We're in Trouble. Is it by Shampoo? I think that's her name. Or I think that's the band's name. I don't actually totally remember, but some of the songs are really silly. Now, it is fun to laugh at, but boy, looking back at this, I don't know how I watched this when I was 14 years old. I really have no goddamn idea, because I could see 14-year-olds, even, people around my age, like teens my age, even thinking, what the fuck are we watching? Even as Power Ranger fans, this movie has not aged well one bit. I mean, and this is also when they were going through some casting fluxes. You did have David Yost as Billy, the Blue Ranger. He was the one that turned out to be gay, and he was apparently bullied mercilessly on set, and that's a damn shame. You did have Jason David Frank, who was the White Ranger, who's also the Green Ranger. In fact, I argue that the story arc of the Green Ranger to the White Ranger is actually pretty damn cool. But then you have Paul Freeman as Ivan Ooze, apparently an underappreciated British actor, and look, he was just hamming it up like crazy. It was Jeremy Irons from Dungeons and Dragons levels of hamming it up, where he's like, I know this movie's shit, the casting's nice and everything, and everybody's treating me well, but fuck it, I'm just going to cheese it up like crazy. It's not like Helen Mirren in Winchester, who didn't play down to her material, because that movie was goddamn shit. But he was too good for this movie. And then you have Gabriel Fitzpatrick, who played a character Dulcia, or Dolce and Cabana. I forget exactly how it was pronounced, but she's some warrior chick that leads the Rangers to their new powers and everything. And she couldn't make a goddamn accent, and it was actually a little bit hilarious. So the idea behind the plot, you have Rita and Lord Zed and Goldar and a pig creature, and and then Alpha 5, all that, and Zordon, and, Zordon, the leader of the Rangers, and all that. All the people are back, and they try to beat back this force of Ivan Ooze, because first, the Rangers are all doing the skydiving thing, and it's hilarious because there's a music montage and stuff like that. A lot of music montages in this. They tried to make it like the TV series, only pumped up, and they somehow made it even worse. Now, looking back, yes, at the TV series, it was fucking ridiculous, but it also used footage from the Japanese show. And here's the problem. This was an American-made movie, and Christ as a show, because you couldn't even have any fun with it. And any of the fun they tried to have with it, it had this serious overtone when it's about a creature named Ivan Ooze trying to take over the world by using parts of him, his slime, his ooze, to infest the brains of the parents to dig up his creatures to take over the world. These weirdly robotic creatures is about a man named Ivan Ooze. How can you take anything seriously with that? You need to have fun with it. You need to enjoy yourself. And this movie just literally hits you over the head with like bullshit from the very beginning, because everything's a cliche. Every bit of every line is a goddamn cliche. The CGI is absolute shit from the very beginning. Paul Freeman does have a whole lot of fun with it. He even manages to invade the Ranger Station, the Ranger Danger Station, and almost kills Zordon. And he says, I was trapped for 6,000 years. I missed stuff like the Black Plague, the Spanish Inquisition, the Brady Bunch reunion. He's only been out of the egg for like about an hour, maybe. I mean, I don't even know if he's been out for that long. How did he know about this stuff? Did he pull a Leeloo Dallas, a Mila Jovovich from Fifth Element, and just watch all this stuff on a computer? Did he have somebody tell him? Did he take over the minds of everybody to absorb all their information? How did he know about this stuff, by the way? Like, what was the context of it? I know I'm probably overthinking something called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, but these are questions that should seriously be asked. It was ridiculous. He fries the Lego headquarters. It really looked like it was made out of big Legos, and oh no, there are these slime putty creatures that, the Rangers are having to chase after, despite the fact they could have gotten back to headquarters probably sooner than they did before their powers got taken away. They somehow managed to find the headquarters after this, but before that, the Yellow Ranger uses, some headlights and stuff like that, helmet lights that look like maybe they enhanced visibility by 5%, about 5 feet in front of you. They didn't help with anything. They were piss poor lights that had no battery power. And then there's this weird scopy Cyclops thing that the Red Ranger uses, and the fight scenes are shit. The fight scenes are absolute goddamn shit. Oh my god, they are fucking shit. They squish the slimy creatures. The acting, my god, the acting. I mean, not that I expect great acting for something like this, but it's like, again, simultaneously treating it seriously, yet also trying to do these cheesy one-liners did not work. Ooze then traps the Rita and Lord Zed in a snow globe, which was kind of funny. And then he gets winged creatures to go find the Rangers who are on this weird planet, this faraway world, to try and get new powers. Fly, monkeys, fly! And yeah, Gabrielle Fitzpatrick, just her character could not find a fucking accent. And I'm sure she actually was pretty good in some movies, but just, it was bizarre because first she was British, and then she was almost New Zealand, and then she was Southern, and then whatever. It jumped like 5 continents. It was absolutely mind-blowing. Then Ooze puts his essence in a jar and takes over the parents' minds because he wants everybody to dig up his stuff. Despite the fact he's got all these powers and could probably just dig the shit up himself, he doesn't do that. He makes people dance, by the way, and do all this stuff. Meanwhile, the Rangers are on this new planet, and they get their powers all of a sudden. They get new powers, like new ninja stuff, like within 10 minutes of arriving. It's absolutely hilarious. They're still on this planet. They're trying to get to this temple thing. The guide woman turns into an owl because she can't advance past this one area or she'll start to age like crazy. So, by the way, the owl's the best actor in the goddamn movie. And they run into some old dino bones that somehow come to life, and Tommy says at one point, I've got a bone to pick with you. And now, I did indeed see what you did there. That was stop motion stuff. It looked like shit. There was a Suikoden 2 fight, by the way, and yes, maybe I will marry Suikoden 2. Shut up. It's one of my favorite video games of all time, where you fight like a big old bone dragon creature or whatever, and that looked better in video game form than this looked in a movie, a big budget movie with millions of dollars behind it. It was hilarious. And then the creatures come to life as these weird robotic creatures, this one weird bug and with pincers and stuff like that. It was shit. There are creatures in the wall, stop motion creatures no less at times. It was hilarious, a fight that went on forever. And then Tommy does this weird spinny kick thing and does that, and it's just so hilarious. They are the sacred animals, or manimals. That would have been fun. Danimals. It would have been better if they were sacred danimals. You know what? Want to know what danimals are? Look them up on Google. Google it, kids. So they get the same powers, or they have new Zords, yet they have the same suits they had before. Not updated suits. They looked like literal action figures with shoulder sockets so you could pose them. And then the robots look terrible. Then they do the big fight and everything. They whiz the powers down their legs like immediately. Like, I mean, Tommy gets taken out, and a few others get taken out. They get fried immediately. What great new Zords these things are, that form and human centipede together in a giant mech. And then Ooze gets upset because one of his robots gets destroyed, so he takes over one, and it literally looks like some of the worst shit ever. It doesn't even... It's actually baffling how bad it looks. Like, I'm like, how could somebody, even with the technology back in 1995, how could you look at that and say, yeah, that looks worth putting on movie theater screens? The big fight was terrible. They go into space. This one kid that is friends with the Rangers, or friends with Tommy, is trying to save the parents and everything, and he gets this giant hose at one point in the construction site where all this stuff was found. He sprays the masses back or whatever, using a fire hose to keep the masses back. Just do this. It's weird. It's just so weird because somehow that hose is powerful enough to keep all these possessed people back while these kids hold them just above this quarry. It's a silent quarry. Do you get it? It would have been more hilarious if it was silent. In fact, this movie is a little bit too loud at times. Even when there are scenes when everybody's just wandering around, it's extremely loud and just like, it's like too much shit's going on. It's like, we can't let anything breathe because then they'll realize our special effects are shit. They're neither special nor effects, and everything is just fucking shit. And then they get a comet in line or a meteor in line, and then Ivan just gets killed. He just gets zapped, just gets destroyed out in space. Ivan Ooze in space. Not like Jason X. And they save Zordon with their power and everything. The power of friendship, and everything's back to normal. Oh, and Bulk and Skull, the two nerdy bully kids are in this also. Yeah, this tried to hit nostalgia, and it didn't work at all. This is all I gotta say about the Power Ranger movie. I might review Turbo Power Ranger movie at some point, because I hate myself, but I was going to do a double review and then realize, nope, I'm going to go a little too in-depth on this, and I don't want to make a review too long. So, yeah, this movie is absolute dog shit. It is, and even looking back on it at 14 years old, I can't understand how I like this. Is it the worst thing ever? No, but you just look at it and it's like, this movie has aged like a fine milk. It has aged so goddamn badly, and like there's no sense of danger, no nothing. They lose their powers, they get their powers back within 10 minutes. They do these fights that they're going to win. There's no sense of danger, no sense of, foreboding or anything. Just pacing, bad pacing right into the next scene. And that's it. Anyway, agree, disagree what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.